Ellie, you're not coming to Hawaii. Leah, my sister, said flatly. Mom whispered, please don't start tonight. Dad muttered, it's already decided. Ethan, my brother-in-law, smirked at his plate. I didn't move, didn't flinch, didn't defend myself. Leah finally looked up. You always make things heavy, Ellie. Mom added, your sister needs peace. Ethan laughed under his breath. I leaned back slowly. So that's the story now? Leah shrugged. It's been the story for years. I nodded once. Calm, cold, focused. Interesting, I said softly. Because the will I read today tells another story. They thought they excluded me. They forgot who the house was written for. Before we go on, tell me where you're watching from and one detail about your setup. Are you on a couch in Chicago, a night shift break room in Texas, or a quiet kitchen somewhere in Canada? I used to believe families don't change overnight. They drift. They soften. They crack slowly. But looking back, the cracks were everywhere. When we were kids, Leah, my sister, held my hand crossing streets. She'd whisper, I've got you, little sis. And I believed her. We'd sneak cookies after midnight, laugh into our sleeves, promise to stay close forever. Then Ethan, my brother-in-law, appeared with loud opinions and louder charm. Leah followed his gravity, and I lost her in inches. Phone calls shortened. Visits ended early. Inside jokes shifted without me. Mom praised Leah for everything. Dad echoed it without thinking. I became the extra, not the daughter. I tried raising it once. Softly, carefully. Leah laughed. Ellie, you're overreacting again. Mom nodded like that settled it. Then came the night I overheard them. I was looking for blankets at Mom's house. A half-closed door. Leah's voice razor thin. She's a liability, Ethan murmured. She clings too much. Another whisper. She'll ruin Hawaii. Then Leah's cold, tired laugh. She can't even manage her own life. I froze in the hallway. One breath. One sentence. And years of confusion sharpened into truth. I didn't confront them. Didn't step inside. Didn't defend myself. I just backed away, holding a moment that cut deeper than any fight. After that, every small slight glowed neon. The group chat without me. The tension when I entered rooms. The invitations sent everywhere but my phone. This wasn't drifting. This wasn't distance. This was deliberate. Planned. Practiced. And none of them knew the document they forgot would undo their entire story. The email arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning. Subject line, rental agreement attached. It was from Mom's account. The message wasn't meant for me. Don't tell Ellie, she'll make it dramatic. I read it twice. Not for meaning. For confirmation. They truly believed that version of me. The fragile one. The needy one. The problem. I sat on my couch staring at my screen. I didn't cry. Didn't argue with myself. Didn't search for excuses. I just whispered, enough. I opened the email again. Scrolled slowly. Checked the dates. Checked the attachments. They had planned every detail. Flights. Deposits. Group reservations. Shared photos I'd never see. All while pretending nothing was decided. I pulled every folder from my closet. Bank papers. Old contracts. Random envelopes from past years. I wanted facts. Not feelings. Not stories someone else shaped. Then I found it. A thin manila folder. Dad's handwriting on the front. Leah, my sister, filed this Monday. My stomach tightened. I opened it slowly. There it was. The 2009 will. Dad's signature shaky from illness. Mom's initials beside his. The lake house assigned to me. Not shared. Not conditional. Mine. I blinked hard. Read it again. Then again. A memory surfaced suddenly. Dad on the porch, hand on my shoulder. Saying, you've always been steady water, Ellie. Leah never filed it. Never mentioned it. Never corrected the family narrative. I whispered, you knew. I called the county office. Read the document aloud. The clerk checked twice. There's no updated will, she said. Only the 2009 version exists. Something inside me steadied. Quiet. Heavy. Certain. This wasn't jealousy. Wasn't overthinking. Wasn't me misunderstanding. This was omission. A crafted silence. A story rewritten without consent. I gathered every document. The will. My name on the deed. Payment history. Proof of unauthorized rentals by Ethan, my brother-in-law. I thought about every forgotten invitation. Every late text. Every plan I heard about last. Each paper felt like a brick returning to my hands. Brick by brick, my foundation reappeared. I slid everything into a clean black folder. No chaos. No revenge. Just order. They excluded me from a vacation. But they built that exclusion on a lie. A lie Leah protected. A lie Mom believed. A lie Dad never questioned. I closed the folder gently, almost tenderly. This time, I whispered, I'm not defending myself. I'm defending the truth. If they wanted me small, they shouldn't have hidden that document. The one proof I wasn't. If your family rewrote the story without you, what would you do? Comment 1 if you'd stay silent. Comment 2 if you'd bring the receipts. I'm reading with you here on Echoes of Life. I arrived early that night, not to help set the table, but to feel the room before everyone filled it with their usual noise. The silverware was lined too perfectly. The napkins folded like a hotel display. The kind of order people use when they're trying to hide tension. The front door opened, and Leah walked in wearing a champagne dress that looked heavier than her smile. Ethan followed with that practiced confidence he loved to perform. Mom fussed with a bread basket, and Dad immediately reached for his phone like it was armor. We sat through small talk that felt strangely loud. Weather updates, work complaints, and forced laughs that never reached anyone's eyes. Then Mom cleared her throat and said, "So, Hawaii," trying to sound hopeful. Leah jumped in before I could blink. We found an incredible place, right on the beach. Ethan leaned back, already pleased with himself, and Dad pretended to scroll, though his eyes kept drifting toward me. Then Leah delivered the line she'd rehearsed. "You're not coming, Ellie. It's final." The table fell into a thin, expectant silence. Everyone watching me like they were waiting for a predictable scene. Hurt, confusion, maybe a shake in my voice. Instead, I placed my hands together and let the moment breathe until they grew uncomfortable. Then I reached into my bag, pulled out a black folder, and set it on the table with steady fingers. "Before anyone talks about Hawaii," I said, "we need to discuss the lake house." Leah stiffened. Ethan leaned forward. Mom blinked fast, and Dad finally lowered his phone. "Go ahead," I told Leah. "Open it." She hesitated, then flipped the folder open, and the color drained from her face before she even reached the second page. "You're still on the deed?" she whispered. "No," I said. "I'm not still on it." She frowned, confused. And I answered, "I was always on it." I tapped the document. The 2009 will. Dad's signature, Mom's initials. The lake house assigned to me. Mom's breath caught. "Leah, you said you filed that." Dad's voice cracked as he said, "I remember signing that. Ellie was taking care of me then." Ethan muttered, "So what does this even mean?" "It means," I said, keeping my voice level, "the property has been legally mine for years, and every decision made without me was based on a lie you protected." Leah shook her head weakly. "It wasn't supposed to matter." "It mattered every time you erased me," I said. The room fell into a different kind of silence. One that didn't wound, only exposed. They expected me to break under their story. They never imagined I'd break the story instead. Leah kept staring at the will, her fingers shaking slightly as she turned the page. Ethan leaned closer like he could somehow change the words by squinting. Mom's eyes were wet, and Dad looked like a man finally realizing he'd missed years of truth. Leah tried again. This doesn't change anything. It changes everything," I said quietly. "Because you built decisions on something you knew wasn't real." Ethan snapped, "Why bring this up now?" "Because you made a choice tonight," I answered. "And I'm making mine." I pulled out the next set of documents. County notices, rental violations, and the payment history Leah never discussed. Their eyes tracked every page like each one carried a new weight. "Those rentals," I said. "Unauthorized. Every booking." Ethan's face tightened, his confidence slipping for the first time. "You're blowing this out of proportion." "No," I said. "I'm correcting the proportion." Dad cleared his throat softly. "Ellie, what happens now?" I looked at him, calm, steady, unmoved by the panic around the table. "The county review starts Monday," I said. "Until it's resolved, the lake house is closed to everyone." Leah's voice broke. "That's our family place." "It was supposed to be mine," I replied. "And you hid that because you didn't want it to be true." Mom whispered, "Sweetheart, we didn't know." "I know," I said gently. "But you believed the version that made me smaller." Ethan leaned forward, anger rising again. "So what do you want?" I took a slow breath. "For starters, you're moving out of the lake house by Friday. All of your things. Every key returned. Every rental contact updated." Leah looked like the air left her body. "Ellie, please." But I didn't budge. "Silence isn't consent," I said softly. "I stopped confusing those a long time ago." Dad pressed his palms together. "I didn't see how bad this was." "It wasn't bad," I said. "It was convenient. For everyone but me." Mom whispered, "We should have asked more questions." Her voice cracked like she finally understood the cost of believing so little. No one said another word. The air felt heavy, almost embarrassed by the truth sitting between us. Ethan tried one final push. "You're doing this out of spite." "No," I said. "Spite screams. This is calm." Mom covered her mouth again. Dad looked down at the table. Leah stared at the will like it might rewrite itself. I gathered my folder, stood, and let the silence settle exactly where it belonged. They thought power came from excluding me. They learned it came from the truth I refused to ignore. I drove to the lake house that weekend, not to claim anything loudly, but to feel what truth sounded like without witnesses. Winter sunlight stretched across the water, thin and bright, quiet in a way my family hadn't been in years. The porch was empty now. No decorations from Leah, no extra gear from Ethan, just clean boards and a single key waiting in the lock. I stepped inside slowly, half expecting echoes of old summers. Screen doors slamming, Dad humming while cleaning fish, Leah laughing like she never knew how to be cruel. But the house felt different now. Not haunted, not broken, just returned. I opened windows one by one, letting cold air move through the rooms, like it was clearing out the versions of me they invented. Mom called twice that afternoon, her voice softer than I remembered. Dad left a message saying he wanted to talk, without anyone rewriting things this time. I didn't answer right away. Not out of anger, but because peace needs silence before it grows roots. I sat on the old porch bench and watched a thin sheet of ice drift across the lake. For once, I didn't feel outside the family. I felt outside the noise. People think strength comes from confrontation, but sometimes it comes from stepping back until the truth stands on its own legs. I wasn't angry anymore. I wasn't waiting for apologies from people who only understand regret when consequences arrive. I was building something steadier, boundaries that held, silence that healed, and a life that didn't shrink to fit anyone's comfort. This wasn't revenge. This was reclamation. And for the first time in years, the story finally belonged to me. If any part of this felt familiar, hit like, share it with someone carrying quiet hurt, and subscribe to Echoes of Life so you never walk these stories alone.